remain the Prime Minister until when the new Prime Minister is sworn in. Always remember that.
Exactly.
Always remember that, sir.
Nonsense. Once the parliament is dissolved, it's no longer the Prime Minister.
Exactly.
The Prime
Once the
Minister
parliament is dissolved,
remain the
he's
Prime
no longer the
Minister
Prime Minister. He
until the
doesn't have any
new
power.
Prime
Now, you
Minister
see,
is sworn
neighbor, I
in.
want to say something like this. I want to say something, neighbor. You see the problem we have, and we get so short temper with the support of the People's National Party. It's like they don't have no truth. They don't want to come to terms with no farm. I want evidence tear them in the face. They have to find something different.
What does dissolve mean? What does dissolve mean, Carl? Carl, what does dissolve mean?
I don't know what dissolve means. Tell me.
Then start then if you don't know what dissolve means.
No, man, you can ask a big man like me what dissolve means.
Sir, when they say the Parliament dissolve, mean that the Parliament become neutral. The Parliament become neutral.
No, man.
But the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister, sir, you don't understand certain things. Sir, you do not understand certain things because what you do not understand. Sir, what you don't understand? You do not understand that the Prime Minister is the Minister of Defense. So the Prime Minister have to be in place until when the new Prime Minister take over the baton, so the Minister of Defense can hand over to him.
You're talking nonsense.
Sir, your argument is illogical
and General.
This man have a sense of reason.
What kind of government?
Nonsense.
You know what?
Guys, we're gonna move on, guys, because we are back and forth, and we're best to just move. Neighbor, could you just lead us on into something else, neighbor?
Yes,
moderator.
Of course. Okay. Scratchy, you have any information on the seat in Westmoreland? I understand that we have not gotten the results as yet. What's happening over there?
No, I don't have any results as yet. I heard a news broadcast that said that whatever we heard yesterday, or whatever numbers we heard yesterday, today the party will make an official statement. So we're still awaiting that.
This not looking too good, Scratchy. I mean, 600 count 600 votes in 24 hours.
No, I don't think it was 600 persons who voted. I believe that's 600 names were on the voters list.
Is not even 600 who voted?
No, but I don't think the full 600 voted. They said 600 was on the list.
300 persons voted.
And
we don't know the exact number neither. Winston, we don't know the exact number neither because I see two different numbers.
But listen, Scratchy. From what report that we got yesterday, it said that it was 300 persons who cast a vote.
Neighbor, Winston, one number came out that says 149 to 159. Then earlier they said that the next official count show 167 to 165. So we don't know the official numbers up to now, Winston.
Okay, all right, Scratchy, thanks. We never hear that revived target.
Yeah, I heard that revised number as well. So
okay,
that's what
I never hear
that.
Sorry.
That's why the party was saying that.
I take back my comment.
That's why the party was saying that whatever we hear yesterday, don't buy into it. They will make the official statement today.
Okay, I want to say something, Scratchy, and I want to talk about what the Prime Minister said on the podium last night. And I kind of hear the frustration in the Prime Minister's voice with the supporters of the PMP. I think I'm a tolerable person. It's just the wanton, unnecessary lying. No, it is not necessary, and it will get to anybody. Even if you support the other side neighbor, and you see somebody's pointing out something, just use it as a learning process now, and you move to something else. You're gonna try and be labor on something, and your point is pointless. The Prime Minister spoke about it last night. Said the ignorance and the bad mind. I don't want to use bad mind term on your life, neighbor. But it's getting to a point now where it's really frustrating and cause people to be about a character sometime, man. You can support your party, but just be truthful now. If you have a misconception and it's cleared up, then you move on. But don't draw it out and try to make something out of nothing. And that get to me, you know. Because here we are trying to clear it up and educate the young man. And it's still all over. No, it don't make sense, sir. With all due respect, man.
Right. You know another thing that frustrates me?
Yes.
Any party that formed the government, the Westminster system allow the sitting Prime Minister at the day an advantage, meaning that the Prime Minister at the day can call the election anytime. Anytime.
100% right, Winston.
Anytime.
100%
Every
right.
prime minister who operate under the Westminster system have this advantage. Right?
Because Winston,
and there's no way that Andrew Holness has ever demonstrated in this country that he do not respect our constitution.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly,
No
Winston.
way at all. So why are these people trying to put the country in a panic mood, like the Prime Minister and his cabinet willing to violate our constitution?
Exactly.
We must stop it, brother.
Stop it, man.
And let me tell you something, Regine.
Stop it, man.
We're not going down the wrong road because we will not allow this country to break out in anarchy. We will not allow this to happen. Right?
But you know, Winston,
democracy, and our democracy will stand.
But Winston, we're not even close to September yet. And them contend that the Prime Minister think of
just a little time out. The advocate.
Mr. Winston and Carl.
Yes.
You just made a statement, right? And the statement that you make is that we must allow democracy to prevail, right? Now, allowing democracy to prevail, constitutionally, the election is due every 5 years, right?
No, she just said that now. No, I don't think we want to.
No. We're trying to. No. I just asked a question, Mr. Carl. We're not going to be ignorant about the fact.
No,
constitutionally, it's due.
I don't want to go back there
sir,
because
I'm just asking you a question.
Yes, sir.
I'm asking a question, sir. Constitutionally, it's due every 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if we want democracy to prevail and it's due every 5 years, we will have to make provisions for that election to be called, right? So now there's the Malo Ford came out and said that the only way the election cannot be called is unless we have a civil unrest or we have some form of national emergency.
No, not Malo, sir. Not Malo Ford said that, sir. The Constitution
she said that.
Make that.
I heard it. Listen, sir.
In the Constitution,
Mr. Winston,
sir, that provision is there.
No, this is not.
I heard
that provision is there.
No.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm simply saying now, sir.
The advocate.
If it is due, sir.
Yeah.
If it is due, right? Why are we trying to speculate and make a bugger argument about it?
That's a good
my
point.
biggest question.
That's a good point.
If it is due, why are we quarreling about it? If it's due, you call it and let it get it over with. That's all.
Right. But no,
we don't have to be up here arguing over anything.
No, we're not arguing. But one contender is saying that the government is very intentions of postponing the election just by the Justice Mr. Malo Ford come out and explain the Constitution.
We don't need this one.
We're going to leave
that. Yeah, we're done with that. Gustav.
Okay. So let us leave that.
Yes, my neighbor.
And ask the dear Prime Minister to, at the time when it's necessary, with the instruction from the Prime Minister to the Governor General to dissolve Parliament, because that's how it's done. When the Prime Minister asks the Governor General to dissolve Parliament, he also gives a date for nomination, and election is 2 weeks after nomination day.
Yes.
That's
and so what you must also mindful of that the Prime Minister within the Constitution do not have to dissolve Parliament.
Exactly.
He can allow Parliament to dissolve on its own, and then he set the election date. Because the provision is there.
Yes.
You know the problem with us, sir. You know the problem with us, sir. Many time in this country, too many of us, even those who are educated and intelligent, will go after too much perception, but not knowledge and facts.
Gustav,
could we move on?
Gustav.
Yes, neighbor.
Gustav, were you in St. Catherine last night?
I was in Northeast St. Elizabeth, neighbor.
You were not in St. Catherine?
Not at all.
Why is the chairman suggesting? Because here is it that people are now linking what Bobby Pickersgill is saying to mean that the party has an agenda. Why is the chairman going down this road of suggesting that the party is not ready for the election?
Which chairman are you making reference to, and who did he allude to?
Mr.
Not being ready, sir?
Mr. Montague said that the Prime Minister will not call the election until all seats are settled and everything is ready for him to call it.
Exactly.
That's exact words.
Yeah, so what is wrong with that? What is wrong with that?
No, it's not that it is wrong. What I'm asking is that
hold on the neighbor. Me was there, Portmore me live. Listen to you. You see, hold on, this advocator, the man said he might run 4 more seats to settle. Oh, don't make Mr. Sharon, you know, I was in the audience. Look for my profile. Me no want advocator if you are PMP, you suck your mother.
No, man.
Hey, Carl.
No,
Hey, Nation, come on.
Push Listen up.
Let's end this today. Let's end this today.
Take him out of the box, neighbor.
Neighbor, Jamaica belong. Listen up. Neighbor, don't spend the room fine now.
No.
Sorry about that.
No, nobody up. Me and Carl about this.
Better decorum, man. Not all platforms are conducive for every type of erratic behavior or sounding my fellow Labour, man. Sometimes we can use it on live and behave what we want also. You know what I mean? Come on, man. We have to show homage to people platform. Sometimes, you understand? I mean, some might be conducive for it, but we have to understand not all platforms.
We're taking a break.
If you ever change your mind about leaving me behind.
You're ending the live, neighbor.
I am, yeah. I don't want to participate in this type of nonsense, sir.
No, but neighbor, no, listen. I think you have to get rid of the gentleman who come and behave in a respectable manner. So
yes, sir, but you know that the program is not only about guests, it's about listeners.
That type of maturity that more people understand where we reach.
There are people listening
we have audience.
Participating, sir. And
this thing is more than just PMP and Labour right sometimes. People they are neutrally look on and learn.
Training my children to understand the politics and this type of thing happens. Them I go say, Daddy, you can't do that. No.
Well, viewers and listeners, we sorry for the premature ending.
But neighbor, but separate and apart from that though, we really and truly neighbor. The thing is, neighbor, there's no need for some of these conversations, because once the Prime Minister himself would have
I tell you something, Gustav. Here am I sitting down, a man who is well-read, who has come up here and has helped us to understand this and have reference to Deion Jackson. So we not learn, man. We not learn.
Yeah. We're
Your introduction, Scratchy.
Carl made a very good point.
Because at first I thought Carl was wrong. Because I understand that my interpretation is wrong. And then I started to text and say, oh my God, Carl is so correct. So Carl, you have teach me something today, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Carl was very right. And I should have known Carl was
so much right.
I should have also known Carl would have been right, because Carl was very vocal on this point from the other day on this live. Carl was well informed about this specific area. Again, yes, Carl, you're so right.
Yes, Carl, you was on the ball, my brother.
But neighbor,
if you were watching the comment, everybody was starting to say, yes, Carl, you are correct.
Yeah, as it pertains to the chairman of the party, neighbor, I don't think the chairman was saying like we are in any. But we have things, we still have, guys, we have to understand, if we are working with the September deadline, we're a couple months from September. We have to understand, guys, that the Prime Minister knows best, the chairman of the party knows best, the General Secretary knows best. They are the ones in the driver's seat, we're just the passengers. They know what it is like out there. They know what is need to be done. They have more internal information that we are not privy to. So guys, we have to just give the party time to get the house in order. That doesn't mean
Scratchy, if you're going to do an exam, right? And you have the opportunity to set the date to do your exam, would you go to do your exam when you think you're unprepared or when you think you're fully prepared?
When you think you're fully
No,
prepared?
sir.
Of course.
And Carl, the funny thing about it, Carl, it is not the JLP supporters are agitated,
No.
It is the PMP. right? The GenSec at the party is responsible to feed the suitable candidate and make sure that all 63 seats have suitable candidate and everything, right? And then maybe give his direction to the chairman of the party, and the chairman pass on the information to the prime minister, etc. So it's a chain of command. So why these people want to dictate how things operate in the JLP?
I'm going to tell you what happened, man. It's a deceptive tactic. I'm going to show you and break it down for you why it's deceptive. The PMP knows that the PMP themselves have a whole heap of groundwork to do in several constituencies. To make the arguments that the Labour Party are draw it out for its own convenience, that's stupid and null and void. Why? It's impossible to draw the election benefit only Andrew Holness. That is impossible. It also gives the PMP a chance, just as well as it gives the Labour Party a chance. But what the PMP top brass are trying to do is what Neighbor was saying earlier. Just in the meantime, confuse the people with information publicly while on the ground spreading lies. That's all they are doing. Confuse them with misinformation on public platforms, and then on the ground, they go with the lies and the stories of lies. These are tactics that we have to watch the PMP for. Don't fathom their conversation. It is not necessary. The Prime Minister at no point in time ever tell me, you, nor no PMP supporter, nor Dan Jackson Miller say, him, nor the JLP has any intention of delaying the elections. Whatever Malahou said was just basically information that everyone is privy to. So it's not that she was speaking from her own point of view or information that the JLP would have created. Those information are privy to everybody. So to fathom these conversations are literally useless.
Yes,
non-practical.
Tell us what happened.
Makes no damn sense, man.
What happened in Southwest yesterday, sir? Tell us what's happening over there.
You mean Northeast?
Northeast, sorry.
Well, neighbor, the comrades may have a different story to tell you on the app. But you have to understand, neighbor, they will not speak the truth, but they're feeling the pressure, neighbor. It is the worst turnout for any PMP comrade leader in the bedrock of Northeast St. Elizabeth. The comrade leader prolifically continues to score low turnout across Northeast St. Elizabeth. Neighbor, the turnout that you have seen last night, I would see, this is a division that the PMP has 3 councillors in. If the PMP has 3 councillors in such a division, neighbor, I was on the ground to observe things physically from a first-hand point of view. You have a housing scheme just before you go where the meeting was held. The very first house in the scheme, no carrying process on it if you want to know how short the scheme is. And when Mark Golden come with one coaster, one single coaster of people, when not even, the coaster not even full. So don't listen to them, neighbor. This is their only area that they can show any numbers in. And this is the same area that they used and lost in 2020. We are unbothered, neighbor, and we tell the comrades them, we are waiting just as they are for Andrew Holness to call it. Because we are confident and optimistic that we have the numbers to back us and we will be getting the support of the voters, especially the young ones. So we are undaunted. No comrade whatsoever upon the app can come and challenge me with that. None, not even the comrade leader himself.
But voter, but voter, if the PMP can show a strong footing in the Northeast St. Elizabeth, you know, it has sent a signal.
1989 call. PMP have that constituency call. Even when PMP out of government call, the PMP has all 3 councillors way from 2016 time and up to now. Neighbor, call, they should have looked better. I have seen Portia Simpson Miller came to that same location when PMP in them prime, in the same bedrock. God damn it, the numbers were so good. Listen, I have seen Mr. Patterson came there, and God damn it, the PNP was looking good at that time. This is the worst turnout for a comrade leader in the bedrock of the People's National Party.
One thing though, voter. Cut out the damn out of your discussion. When I want to know farmer, you know, Just keep it.
No, I think that's allowed, man. Come on,
no,
but Carl, my grounds on using them, would be to swap it for a expletive, a raw expletive.
Yeah,
so you must understand.
Yeah, but but just one quickly. But I said to the bigger point is if
that dictionary word, man, that is in the dictionary, man. So it can be used, man. Once it is dictionary found, it can be used.
I tell you, this is exciting stuff. So Gustav, your man had a meeting over there last night too.
My man, sir.
Sorry,
my neighbor. I think we need to take a commercial break again, neighbor. Let's cool it down again.
You are the quintessential heterosexual, my brother.
I understand the neighbor. I was just poking around, man. No hard.
The quintessential heterosexual, Gustav. Come on.
Anyway, neighbor. Anyway, it was the comrades who had a meeting over there. Still neighbor.
So why you didn't make it over to St. Catherine, man?
Man, I had to witness the disgrace of the PNP first-hand, neighbor. I wanted to prove for myself through my own eyes that I would have said on the up, neighbor, that the PNP is on the back foot because of Delroy slowly. I wanted to also refresh myself of the reality. I was already aware, neighbor. I just had to refresh myself as to the reality. Neighbor, in London in these few seconds, the meeting was filled with disgruntled labor rights on PNP on the outside. Sad faces, not pleased. In fact, neighbor, I witnessed sitting on the outside at the gate, neighbor, on a column where several other labor rights gathered to witness the poor turnout of the PNP. And neighbor, every minute, the top brass PNP supporters in that division come out and look for corner. They are searching for the crowd and couldn't find it last night, my neighbor. Did they have a good turnout? Yes, neighbor. But that is not safe for the PNP in their bedrock because they would have had better numbers in better times. And if this is a bedrock and they are losing momentum, the signs of the writing, it's clear that it's on the wall.
But I see some polls down there, Delroy, that suggest that it is going to be close.
Zulika Jess.
Yes, yeah. I've seen that it's a battleground.
If it's going to be close, neighbor, in a PNP bedrock, you must expect that the Labour Party will get the nudge. We're not supposed to be having a close contest.
Exactly.
So if it is close and we're government and MP, you must expect us to come out on the competitive side.
Sir, but you have a sitting member of parliament with a government with an excellent record of performance.
Exactly, my neighbor. So other than the MP, my neighbor, what about the Holness voters? What about the JLP per se voters? These people will come aboard to form the slowly voters and the JLP and Holness voters combined, and that will safely make the member of parliament be reinstated.
How do you feel, Gustav, personally?
I feel very proud. I feel very proud because at the time that we would have gotten to distance ourselves from the PNP is short, was short. And the fact that they still have not gained momentum over us in their bedrock, neighbor, anyone that's supposed to sit uneasy with this data has to be the PNP.
But again, let me just say one thing to neighbor. Gustav is right. If any poll results is showing a close neck and neck fight in Northeast St. Elizabeth, the People's National Party is in trouble. That seat is a bedrock People's National Party seat. They're supposed to win that seat. If they're going to win the election, they have to win that seat comfortably.
Convincingly at that. They must win it convincingly.
Convincingly. So if it is, that is the if the poll is credible, and if we have to go by the poll, if the People's National Party is close, neck and neck, they are in trouble.
It's bad for the PNP. This is a 1989 control seat. Yeah. This is a seat that the PNP is not in office and still has councillors and still not managed to distance themselves. This is the same PNP that has Zulika just campaigning in the local government election as MP caretaker. You expect you to still be in a stalemate with all of that contest and feel good? Cut the nonsense, my neighbor. The PNP are not sitting well, and that's hands down.
I see. All right. So you are suggesting that. Go ahead, Scratchy.
No, I'm just neighbor. I say again, no, this is one of the reasons why you see the PNP is calling for this election so bad, neighbor, because as each day goes by where the Prime Minister hold them out, they're losing momentum as each day go by. The PNP is basically chuckling and less than half tank of gas. You and the Prime Minister and the Jamaica Labour Party have a full tank of gas to go the journey. So that's why they want this election to be called. And the Prime Minister is very strategic. He made it clear that he doesn't play draft, he play chess.
And I heard a little whisper, neighbor and Scratchy and Gustav, that the Labour Party is of a poll right now that is showing them leading 10%. So Scratchy, you're right. If the longer election is drawn out, is the worse it's going to be for the People's National Party.
I was monitoring the several meetings yesterday, I must tell you. And Gustav, you may not like this, but the PNP, they seems energized, man.
Oh, cut the crap, neighbor. Neighbor, these are paid, energized people. These people were paid to be energized and don't show the depletedness, neighbor. These people are forced to show enthusiasm. They are not seeing reasons to do so, neighbor. So they are being compelled. My neighbor.
I was over in Westmoreland, in St. James yesterday, sir. And I was surprised at how enthusiastic the comrades were. Daring the Prime Minister to call the election
is a carnival, you know. You know that?
It brings its own fever.
So hold on.
Mind you, the environment was if you're not careful, I left there feeling a little red with the smell of weed.
you know, neighbor.
Yes.
Neighbor.
Who is this? Who is this now?
Winston.
Winston,
Yeah, I can say this to you, neighbor.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that we cannot take away from the PNP is confidence and enthusiasm. Enthusiasm and energy.
Yes.
10 PNP. 10 PNP can make more noise and create more energy more than 100.
You boy, Diego.
I can tell you that.
You're damn right, Winston. 2020, neighbor. Let's go back into a nostalgic moment. 2020. The comrades were damn more energized than the Labourites all over Northeast St. Elizabeth. What was the end result at the end of the settlement of the dust? The comrades, in fact, came out with brooms, neighbor. They came out with brooms in Santa Cruz, Silo, and Balaclava, neighbor. That's how energized they were in the boiling sun, sweeping at nothing, literally, neighbor. They're not unique to behave like this, neighbor. We should just not be daunted. They're always like this, neighbor. But we have the remedy to put them in arrest and calm. Neighbor, we're not afraid of these type of antics.
Well, Gustav, I must say this still. The People's National Party is not going to roll over and play dead. I can tell you that, you know. So that is not to say we're not to be confident, but they're not going to roll over and play dead. Remember now, we are going into a third term, right? So they are going to want to try as best as possible to put the best foot forward, because they know that if the Labour Party win this third term, more than likely they're going to win the fourth term.
Well, let me tell you something. What I heard coming out of, by the way, just the political forecaster is joining us. When I heard Burchell Taylor, by the way, listen to this.
My father.
When I heard this, oh my goodness, the people here are messing up the program. When I heard that's in southern St. James, when I heard her speak of, she basically said that she have that one locked, and she was actually throwing her hat behind Andre, West Central. By the way,
Owen Boss.
Sorry, Boss. How you doing?
Not too bad at all. Very well, as a matter of fact.
You're doing very well. I was over in St. James yesterday, sir. And the enthusiasm I see in southern Well, it's not even in Southern, but Burchell is suggesting that she has that seat all wrapped up. She's now campaigning for the economics, the teacher,
the economist.
Yes, you know, I heard Rhoda saying that she had a campaign manager over South Manchester, and that she should stay in Central, not true?
Well.
You would advise Miss Taylor to stay in
neighbor.
Yes,
neighbor. You're talking about Rhoda, right?
No, I'm speaking about Miss Taylor. You would advise her to stay in Southern, or she can go help West Central.
Well, I think she can move. I would suggest she go over to Trelawny in Northern to help Wicca McNeil. Her efforts might be of some use.
Yes, so you are agreeing that she should leave her constituency because she has won it?
She can leave her constituency, but not to West Central St. James. It's more waste of time. She can just leave St. James.
If you are saying Homer is
Homer
will
win. Huh? Homer will win. Homer JLP will take St. James 5-0.
But if that is so, sir, then you wouldn't want her to leave. You would want her to stay.
Well, for her sake, her efforts may bear some fruit elsewhere.
That's what he's basically trying to say about. He's not needed in St. James. That's what Owen Boss is basically saying.
Yeah, her efforts will be wasted at the end in St. James. Exactly. South is their best chance, and they will not take it home. You know, I'm not afraid to call a close one. Yeah.
All right. I'll tell you what, Owen Bars. What's your name? Burchell?
Yeah.
Our best chances is to go into Southeast and Southwest St. Andrew to help Mark Bowling or Angela Brownberg. Because St. James, Tova Hamilton is going to win that seat. And St. James is going to be 5. It's going to be a clean sweep. So she can rule out, in my book, she can rule out St. James, she can rule out Hanover. Right? So the best place to find herself is in Kingston.
Seriously speaking, if they stand a chance of winning a constituency in St. James, it's South St. James. Yeah, they will always trying to rile up a crowd, sound optimistic, sometimes even overdose with confidence. That's what politicians do.
Owen Boss, can I make a confession?
You can't tell a donor that you're not in the race.
Can I make a confession, sir?
Yeah.
Most of the men in the audience never heard a word that Miss Taylor was saying, You know why?
I think her name is Burchell.
Yeah, Nikisha Burchell.
You know that most of the men there never heard a word she was saying.
You know why? You know why?
I heard a forecaster the other day say that she is looking good. But he didn't mean that she was looking good in the constituency.
Yeah, not politically.
Why?
More figurative.
I won't go there though.
I have a question though, Owen Boss. We talk about St. James regular. We necessarily know that St. James going 5-0. We have seen now Owen Boss where the Jamaica Labour Party has placed Mr. Chin over there, or Mr. Cousins in Clarendon as the candidate over there. What do you think about that move?
Well,
good move.
It's good to see Mr. Chin and the JLP are still rocking with each other. I still didn't like the fact that he was challenged. However, it's a good move. It's a very good move, and this is politics. This is what politics is about. A party that's in its prime don't take any seat for granted. I will not forecast Southwest Clarendon to be a close seat nor a battleground because I have to forecast the truth. It's not an impossible seat, but I don't see the JLP winning it. But there are stranger things have happened.
In 2020,
what I can tell you, the pain points in that constituency is very, very high. I was there a month ago. If the road from out of 4 Park leading into Mape, and you have a section of it, there's literally you can't escape no patrol. The pain point is very, very heavy.
If you have followed politics,
yes, I have.
all your days, you would know that PNP have the most doctors in their party.
Yes. That's
they're not necessarily oncologists or physiotherapists. They are spin doctors, and they will find some way.
Boss, that's a classic.
Yeah,
that's a classic.
They will find some way to put those pain points on the government, and they have constituents who wants to hear what they have to say, so they will run with whatever they say.
You know, Owen Boss.
Yeah.
I am in support of what you just said here. It is the first time in the history of our politics where all the 27,000 kilometers of road that exists in Jamaica at the present moment is the responsibility of the Prime Minister to fix for the first time. So I don't think our electorate will go to the poll and blame a member of parliament because the road in the constituency don't fit, especially in the constituency that the PNP held.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden now, everybody is waiting on Sparks, and if Sparks can't fix the road, then blame the Prime Minister.
No, man, no. They're waiting on Sparks. They're waiting on any program the JLP has. But if Southwest Clarendon was a close seat, I can assure you there will be people fighting the government to fix the road first. I saw up in Eastern St. Thomas where the MP is fixing a road because the REACH program reached a road, and the councillor came with her entourage to stop it, claiming that she had plans to fix the road and it's under her mandate as the councillor to fix the road. So I never see people fight to fix road, trying to stop the road. Say you're not supposed to fix this one. It's for me to fix.
Yeah.
And
my brother,
because
tell us,
that's a close seat.
Come tell us. Is the date of the election factored into your forecast? In other words, should the election be in another 2 months, do you think it will change the outcome?
Yes, yes. That's why for me, I keep on repeating. When I tell you something about a constituency, I tell you that I'm forecasting that constituency. I take it that election is a mere 3 months away, 2.5 to 3 months away, maybe 3 months. Yes, and so I'm forecast. An election, if election were to be held today, it may be a different story, but one thing I'm sure is not in play is the results of which party will win. In some constituency, it may be a different story, but one thing I'm sure would not be in play is the overall result.
Okay, so the Labour Party was strategically in East Central yesterday. Do you think that is a strategic move?
I don't know what it's a strategic move, but it was like a workers' conference. It's the most constituency everyone keeping their workers' conference right now.
Well, It's a constituency.
Hold on. I can't just say one thing before you continue thing there. Somebody say something about strategic move. And neighbor, you're the one that says it.
Yes.
It was a strategic move. And what I say when I say it was a strategic move is that the country now can expect what kind of message is going to come from the Prime Minister. I think the Prime Minister last night was excellent. It was excellent. And we know the People's National Party can write this one down. Now, when the Prime Minister take on the road, it's going to be a different ballgame altogether. Because if you listen how the Prime Minister executed himself last night, oh my word, man, he was in full flight. So I think I can bet you the next constituency conference, you won't see the Prime Minister. I think he came out strategically in this workers' meeting to give us a taste of how he's going to conduct the campaign. Because he used 2 words last night. Right? I don't want to use the term, but I'm going to say it when he mentioned about the PNP bad mind and their ignorance. I think those 2 words, and we have just seen it demonstrated a couple of minutes ago on your program, Labour. So I think it was strategic, in my opinion, to show the Jamaican electorate what type of Prime Minister. This is a different Prime Minister. You know? He has matured in the role of Prime Minister now, right? And if you notice, he came there last night. He wasn't scripted. He was just speaking. And when he ended the presentation last night, it resonates. When he mentioned about who it is going to fix the road, who it is going to build the school, the hospital, pay public sector workers a significant increase. Those words are going to resonate when the election campaign comes.
Scratchy, do you think that the vloggers, the bloggers, those who people are, do you think that they have the stamina to hold on out for another 2 months?
I mean, yes, most definitely. The bloggers are, I think.
You guys are not tired?
No, I don't think the bloggers are tired. We're very energized. The longer the date is, where we are pushing on, same way. I speak for myself, I speak for others. Most of us are very, very well. The government has so much neighbor that we can speak about that it's impossible to get bored over 2 months or feel repetitive, because there's so many different topics that we can look upon every day or every night and push out there to the audience out there. And I think the more we are on social media, the more our presence is being felt. More and more persons will understand and come on to the government, to the government side. But definitely, I think the bloggers have the stamina.
Let me say this to you, neighbor. You hear, neighbor?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The JLP can win an election midnight, but the Prime Minister wants to wait until dawn because there's a lot he wants the people
they can
to
win
see
midnight,
clear.
but he wants to wait until dawn.
Because he wants the people to see a lot of things clearly.
You did your homework.
Only time will tell. Yeah. And you can see things happening with the IC, for instance, and there's a lot of other matter at hand. And because of widespread ignorance, people don't clearly understand. So that's the only reason he's waiting until dawn. Not because he doesn't think he can win. He know he will win. But he's waiting until dawn.
And again, neighbor, as it relates to the meeting last night in Portmore, yes, I would agree to some extent that it was strategic, but I mean, I would expect that the Prime Minister would be there. I would bet any money on anybody that said that the Prime Minister would automatically be at that meeting based on what is going on with the whole Portmore becoming a parish.
Yes.
Disappointed the Prime Minister didn't show his presence last night in Portmore. I think he will also be going back to Portmore again. I think Portmore is going to see the Prime Minister a lot in this campaign. Definitely, most definitely. That's one of the things that I see coming, because the push to Portmore as a parish, we'll have to do a lot without the Prime Minister present with us, so have a lot to play in that role. So I see the Prime Minister going to Portmore a lot. I see him also giving the support to Big Rob also whenever Big Rob conference is held. So definitely, neighbor, yes, the Prime Minister presence will be seen in Portmore this coming campaign. The Prime Minister, neighbor, will be walking off his shoes. I think he has to have more than one flag for this coming election campaign.
And yes, and Scratchy, another thing I've looked at over and over again, and I also agree with you. The Prime Minister will be in Portmore again. He will be in Southeast St. Catherine. And the Prime Minister will also be in parishes like Hanover, more in this campaign, more than he has ever been. I expect to see the Prime Minister go through Hanover at least twice in this election.
Yes. All right.
Because
So own boss, we have 15 minutes. The for the listeners who have not heard you before, 180 of them are on with us now. Tell us your base, how you come to that base, and how you are moving forward. You are suggesting, for those of us who have listened to you, that the Jamaica Labour Party will ultimately be triumphant in the elections, but you are suggesting that they start with an advantage of at least 33 seats, right?
Yes, they do.
Yes, and we see where the party seem to be making some changes over there in Western Westmoreland. Will the person on the ground make a difference?
That's a tough one, neighbor, and that's why when I made my forecast before, I told you that they will be victorious with Moreland Wilson, because I sit down and I foresee that with the influence of James, Miles, and everybody in the constituency, if those influences are behind Moreland, Ian Hales cannot win. I know it will never be a JLP safe seat, but with all those energy you see yesterday behind one man, Moreland Wilson, Ian Hales will not be able to win. And I also knew that. I also know that it would be harder, very hard, to shift that likely. They will not. I see a James lining up behind a Moreland with his supporters if Moreland win, but I hard to see Moreland supporters lining up behind James, and that's going to cause a problem.
But I heard.
One boss. Sorry to interject your neighbor. That's what I love listening to you. You hit the nail. You echo my sentiment exactly where that contest is concerned. Everything you say, I agree with you 1,000%.
Yes,
everything you say. I know,
and I must add, there are some things a lot of people are afraid to say. If Moreland won the election in 2020 with some 6,000 votes, if you look at the vote tally 2016, it was about the same amount of vote that Wickham McNeil got, and it wasn't a COVID election 4 years before. And so Moreland had done well with James and Miles on the other side. So I sit and I do a lot of thinking, and I said to myself, James and Miles cross the floor and still retain their seat as councillor. But would they have retained their seat if they didn't cross the floor? I don't think so, based on the election result before. So
I am forecasting, you see.
So it's Garfield James and Mr. Miles that are following the supporters to the jail. It's not necessarily the supporters following them. And that's where the party got it wrong.
That's a wonderful point you just raised on, but
can you repeat that again for me, sir, please? Go with it again. Let me hear you.
I said, in my opinion, based on the numbers from the last 2 general elections, and with Mr. Miles and Mr. James crossing the floor over to the JLP and retaining their seat as councillors in the municipality, in the municipal council of Westmoreland, people are getting the impression that they have brought over PNP supporters. But in my opinion, they have followed those supporters to the JLP to retain their councillor seat. It's not the supporters who have followed them. And that's where a lot of people are getting it wrong. Yes, the supporters will be behind them as their councillor, but if they were that influential, Wickham McNeil would have won his seat against Moreland.
I agree with you.
One question though, one boss. Have you seen the numbers from the previous local election compared to 2024 for them? One boss.
Give me a second, Scrappy. Give me a second.
Yeah,
those numbers would give us a good idea as to whether they bring over any PNP votes or anything. If we had the previous local election numbers for Miles and James compared to the 2024 local election.
Okay, I don't have the numbers, but what I thought about is how many divisions did the JLP won in that constituency?
In the last
help me
election?
Yes.
Neighbor, you have those numbers?
I'm sorry,
no, not the numbers. I'm trying to tell you how I come to my conclusion.
Okay, go ahead then.
I'm saying, look at how many divisions did the JLP take home in that constituency. It was just for Miles and James, right? Yes, it was.
All right, so own boss is at work, and so we apologize for the little break here, but bear with us. He is helping us to understand the intricacies of that constituency over there in Westmoreland. Will the JLP be able to retain it, irrespective of who is the candidate? Of course, we are awaiting the results of the contest that happened there yesterday between the sitting member of parliament, Moreland Wilson, and of course, the principal, who is a councillor in a division in the constituency. Are you back, Owen Boss? Not quite. But Scratchy, he's making a very good point in terms of how the support may go.
All right. Your neighbor.
Yes.
I think he's on point, you know. That contest doesn't rest well with me. You know? I don't want to say much on it, but it doesn't rest well with me. And as one boss was saying, it's gonna be it's gonna be difficult if the other guy come out on top, you know. People are gonna look at it and say, listen, he just crossed the floor and immediately he is given the opportunity to contest a seat.
Yeah,
you know.
But let me ask you: doesn't the party's interest trumps personal interest in terms of supporters? Why are supporters suggesting that yeah, you have your preference, but don't whoever the party puts forward, the supporters should rally behind?
Not necessarily, you know. Not necessarily. No, it can, yeah, that's the ideal, but remember now you're talking about human beings. We have feelings, you know, blood run through our veins, we have emotions, you know what I mean?
Yes.
if a person won a seat, you know what I mean, that has been held by the other side for 30-something years, barring there are going to be problems, you know, and then he has his supporters, and I think that, you know, looking at it on the outside, people might say that there are things that we don't know. But for me, I'm a loyalist. You see, if I was in the position, even if it must be extreme cases, and probably there's extreme cases in this case, I don't know. I was stuck with him. I wouldn't allow a challenge to go on, because
do you suspect that part of what is causing the delay is that the party is likely to go with the member of parliament?
That is the indication, yes, to some extent, because I've heard that the results were showing that unofficially that Garfield James won by 1 vote. So I don't know if that is official, but we're gonna wait the official count this afternoon. So if it is close, I think that it would be better if they stick with Moreland. But you know, if Mr. James won it convincingly, then they have to use him. But you know, I don't want to
speculate. You want to speculate too much on that. Is the forecaster back? Owen Boss, are you back?
No, he's not back as yet, neighbor. No, you bro.
Hello.
Yes,
Big man.
he's back now.
Yeah, man, but I'm not going to say, Owen Boss really highlight upon some issues where we never look into, and I really think he's perfectly right in what he's saying. And I'm living in Westmoreland, Little London, but I don't vote in Westmoreland, Little London. I vote in Centre, but I work in Nickel, so I live in Little London. And the lane that I live in, it's all green, and they're all upset about what happened yesterday, because even 4 members couldn't vote because of names spelled wrong on the paper that come down and things like that. And you know what Mr. Owen is saying, and the gentleman after saying a while ago, is reality, because that is what is on the ground. The people them saying that they're not voting for a PMP, you know, they're voting for a Labour right. And if it's even 50 or 100 votes, subtract from.
Sorry, hold on, sir. Let's hold on.
Yes.
Mr. James is a PNP?
No, he's not.
No, sir. No.
I mean, it's a crossover, and all the people them are saying that. It's not me, you know. That's not
yes,
saying what
my brother. Since you're born, have you had more than 1 girlfriend?
Yes.
I think I have made my point. So you can't change. Why you never stay with the first one?
Relationship is 2 different things. Our girlfriend is 2 different
things. How is that? What is the difference if
people have emotional feelings, and some people take it to
yes, but I am sure that when your girlfriend, your first girlfriend, she took your heart, you broke hers.
Neighbor, you're perfectly right, neighbor. You can't look at it like that, big man, because the person who is more than campaign manager is also a person who was a PNP and come over as well.
It's not me looking at you like that.
You know, scratch it. Who's scolding? Who's scolding?
I'm talking about what the people on the ground is saying.
Yeah, but we have to
highlighting
people.
You, man, Mr. Big Man, so you don't share the same sentiment.
All right.
Yeah, before you come in, Bruce Golding left the Labour Party, you know, and formed the National Democratic Movement, ran against the Labour Party, got over 30,000 votes. Some people said he would have cost the Labour Party the election, and came back to become Prime Minister of Jamaica under a Labour Party government. People can change, sir. Because it's about principles.
That 30,000 vote that go to Mr. Golden at the time, it would have been within the JLP, so it's still a JLP vote. That's the same thing we are talking about.
No, the point that we are making is that people can change, because Mr. Golden could leave and go form his most party and come back and be the leader of the party. That's what the point that we are trying to make. That it's okay, people can leave. Shaw was once a PNP and he come back. Carson Muda was once a PNP and he come back. People can change and come back. Ian Hayes, who the voting, who the vote. Ian Hayes, who the PNP can vote for. Ian Hayes was a JLP.
Yeah. So why they don't feel the same way about Ian Hayes? I think Ian
Hayes was a Labour right. Ian Hayes was a Labour right.
Go ahead, boy.
I think the reason why it's going to cause we're probably going to cause a fallout is just the time, the timing. People think that when the crowd more people think that it's some time.
Let me say this.
Before you
Right. I don't think anything is wrong with a challenge, and I don't think anything is wrong with somebody who decide that they have changed from a party to another based on whatever reason. But I'm speaking purely about this situation in Western Westmoreland. And my opinion is that, first thing first, Mr. James had a falling out with Mr. Wilson. I don't know how much of a falling out they have, right? But Mr. James clearly wanted to be the MP for the constituency, or wanted a shot of being the MP. He was on the other side. That was his intention. He wanted to be the caretaker instead of Mr. Yales, from what I gather.
And on boss, no disrespect or anything, how much I respect you. I think, we could go back to the part where we're just forecasting. We don't want to go too much on the...
No, man, that's where it's coming from. You went there in a scrappy. It was you all went there.
No, we're just trying to clear up a point for this guy, big man, who was again saying that people are saying that they're not going to vote for a PNP, so we're telling him that don't class him as a PNP.
No, I'm using this as basis for what I'm about to say. I'm trying to let everybody understand exactly what I'm saying, but if you cut me from early, they won't understand what I'm saying. Okay. So he had aspirations, and it's clear. Coming over to the JLP now, he came to the JLP and he won his seat. The records is showing that he gave the JLP a councillor seat. And I'm thinking that this man would not have won that division had he remained on the PNP based on the result of the
That's conjecture,
election.
That's conjecture.
Yes,
we don't have the
my
evidence.
Opinion. Exactly. And okay, we don't have the evidence for that. However, if he has influence in the constituency that can get people to vote for JLP, so JLP take home the seat, why risk running against the MP instead of putting your full support behind the MP? It's Western Westmoreland. It's something, the last time we won Western Westmoreland, I'm guessing it's 1983. Why would you think that we can create a fight and months to the election and still retain such a seat? And I'm trying to understand. I'm not against Mr. James, but the process that leads to Mr. James being the standard bearer will have damaged the JLP in the constituency.
Well, you don't think the party, Owen Boss, would have examined all of these pros and cons and would have signed off on it? They would have examined the positives and the negatives, and they said, yeah, let's have it. And isn't there a likelihood that this could energize labor rights over there and mobilize the base and push the party forward? And I would suspect finally that the party would probably have some internal information unknown to us why it would allow such a challenge at this time.
Yeah, I bet they do. I bet they do, but my forecast is independent of that. My forecast is independent of that because I don't know that. I don't know that. And I'm just saying, if we not live good, if we are not united, it's way harder for we to win a constituency that we don't have the bigger base in. Obviously.
Yes. Makes sense.
And it's harder. It's going to be 3 times harder for we to be united now after what happened yesterday. Especially if the MP is ousted.
Yes.
I could understand if there were constituents demonstrating and saying they don't want this MP, and then a challenge come forward. Because I understood, I gathered that there were discontent in South Manchester before, but I haven't heard anything like that about Moreland Wilson. From what I learned, he was a decent MP. He is a good MP.
Yes.
That's why I take it down to aspiration.
Let's see if we can invite some other persons here to briefly.
I just want to talk, you know, so I'm never cut, you know, we can get somebody else get the space.
Take care, brother. Take care.
Scrappy gone.
Scrappy's on a little bit of break, but we are we are running out of time too. All right, let's see who we can bring up for a few minutes. Okay.
But neighbor, I will not say they will not win in Western Westmoreland now. I will have to wait and see what I gather, see what I see on the ground,
yes.
See how much of our work Mr. Chang and the party leader can do to get them united in the constituency, because as I say, the base in the constituency is alive, more alive than ever before.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
After such a challenge, so it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
All right. Owen boss, it's gonna be later. You know, I'll text you here.
Okay, later.
Take care of yourself. Listeners, that's gonna be it for today. You know, I really have to leave it here. I thank you all for staying with us. Apologies for the little mishap earlier, and you know, these things happen, but nonetheless, we are thankful for your joining us. Okay. All right. Sean. Sean. Yeah. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining. I think I'll be on later for maybe